Let's get more on COP29 from John Kirton, who's a director at the G7 Research Group at the University of Toronto. Welcome to the news hour, John. What would you say are the biggest breakthroughs and achievements on day 3 of COP29?
Well, none of them are very big. I guess the one that people will point to, and it was, of course, planned, predictable to get things off to a good start, build momentum, was the announcement by several of the world's major multilateral development banks that they would increase their climate finance. But they're only one of the players. We're still waiting to see how the governments of countries will increase theirs, and how the private sector will chip in, and they'll all do it in ways that have the poorest countries in the world get the climate finance in the form of free grants and not loans that they have to pay back, which will discourage them from even receiving as much as they need and want. So we've still got a long way to go.
And John, how important is the focus on low-lying countries at this COP29?
Oh, it's extremely important because it's said accurately that climate change is an existential threat, and it is to all of us, all living things on the planet. But the countries that will actually die first will be those that sink beneath the rising seas, expanding because of the heat that's going into them, because we haven't controlled climate change. So from the Maldives to many of the small island developing states in the Caribbean, the South Pacific, that's where we hear the cries being the loudest, and they're not pointing to reparations for the Industrial Revolution. They're looking at the here and now, and also pointing not just to the United States and the G7 countries, but by far the #1 climate polluter in the world now, which is the People's Republic of China. And now in the top 4 or 5, India is next. Countries that are heavily dependent for their electricity, for power, on burning killer coal. So that's got to go right here, right now, if we're going to have any chance of not just keeping 1.5 alive, the Paris target, that's already died, but the 2% target. So we need much more now.
John, thank you very much indeed. John Kirton speaking to us there from the G7 Research Group at the University of Toronto. Appreciate your thoughts and time. Thank you.
Pleasure.